So, you're an office worker, and you've been thinking about starting a side hustle, right? But here's the thing. The real challenge isn't about finding more time or suddenly becoming super motivated. It's about choosing the right one from the get-go. Let's get into why so many of them fail, and more importantly, how you can pick one that actually sticks around.
And this right here, this hits the nail on the head. I mean, if you tried a side hustle before and it just kind of fizzled out, I'm willing to bet it wasn't because you were lazy. The real reason it didn't work was probably decided before you even started, with a choice you made at the very beginning.
You know the usual advice, right? Just hustle harder, find more hours in the day, be more disciplined. But for office workers, that advice completely misses the point. The real problem is picking a side hustle that is just a terrible fit for the reality of a full-time career.
Think of it like these two gears. A side hustle that lasts can't be grinding against your day job all the time. It has to coexist. It needs to slot neatly into the cracks of your life without jamming up the whole machine. So, to really figure out what works, we have to reframe the entire problem. It's not about what's trendy or what looks exciting on Instagram. It's about understanding your three true constraints as an office worker: your energy, your time, and your risk.
Let's start with the big one, and it's probably not what you think. It's energy. I mean, forget about hours for a second. Your mental energy is your real currency. After a long day of meetings, putting out fires, and staring at spreadsheets, your brain is just fried, even if you clock out right on time. And this is where so many people go wrong. If your side hustle demands the exact same kind of brain power that your 9-to-5 does, you are basically signing up for burnout. The smart play is to either use a different kind of energy or to reuse skills you've already mastered, which is way less draining.
Next up, let's talk about time. Look, the classic advice to just find 5 extra hours is kind of useless, isn't it? For most of us, those hours are broken up, unpredictable. The quality of the time you have is so much more important than the quantity. So, you've got to ask yourself some honest questions. First off, can I actually do this in short bursts? You know, in those 20-minute gaps between meetings? A side hustle that needs 3 hours of deep, uninterrupted focus is just a really tough fit for a busy professional.
Second, is it flexible? What happens when a massive project lands on your desk at work? You need to be able to hit the pause button on your side hustle without the whole thing crashing and burning. If you can't, that's a huge red flag.
And finally, can you actually get stuff done when you're tired or the house is a mess or you just don't feel like it? Waiting for that perfect, quiet moment of inspiration? Yeah, that's not realistic. You have to be able to make progress even on the messy days.
Okay, our third constraint is risk. But we need to think way beyond just money. It's like an iceberg. For someone with a full-time job, a cheap side hustle that leaves you exhausted and performing poorly at your main job is actually incredibly high risk. The real risks are anything that threaten your job, your reputation, or your sanity. So how do you manage all that hidden risk? Well, it all comes down to one crucial word: reversibility. The best, safest side hustles are the ones you can easily scale down, put on hold, or even walk away from completely without everything blowing up. Okay, so we've got our new framework: energy, time, and risk. Now for the fun part. Let's actually use this to evaluate some of the most common side hustles out there. This is where it gets really practical.
So let's just lay out a few options here. Notice the huge difference between that top row and the bottom one. Skill-leveraged hustles, they reuse the energy you already have, and they're super flexible. But now, look down at e-commerce. It demands intense problem-solving, has almost no time flexibility, and is super high-stress profile. The difference is night and day, and it tells you exactly why one is a much better fit for an office worker.
Let's talk about those skill-leveraged hustles for a second. Things like consulting, freelancing, or coaching in a field you already know. These are just so powerful because you are not starting from scratch. You already get the problems, you speak the language, and that massively cuts down on the energy cost and gets you to providing real value so much faster.
Now, what about creating content, like a YouTube channel or a blog? This can absolutely work, but you have to go in with your eyes wide open. It is a long game. Seriously. You might work for months and get almost no feedback or reward. It only succeeds if you treat it like you're building a long-term asset and you actually enjoy the process.
And then there's e-commerce. This gets sold as this passive income dream, right? But the reality is, it's often constant, urgent problem solving. A shipping delay or an angry customer, those things don't wait until after 5 p.m.
That stress bleeding into your workday is a massive hidden risk. All right, so how do we pull all of this together into a simple, practical framework? Let's build a clear process for choosing a side hustle that you can actually stick with for the long haul.
First things first, and this is a big one, a crucial mindset shift. Your side hustle should not be a desperate escape plan from your job. That way of thinking leads to really bad, rushed decisions. Instead, think of it as an experiment designed to create leverage, more options, more confidence, and more control over your future.
So, with that experimental mindset locked in, let's walk through 5 simple steps. You can use these to filter your ideas and make a choice that's actually sustainable. Here we go. Number 1, start with the skills you already have. Just minimize that painful, energy-sucking learning curve. 2, optimize for your energy, not just what sounds exciting. 3, choose something that's reversible, something you can easily pause or stop. 4, see your stable job as an asset that lets you experiment safely, not a prison you need to escape. And finally, number 5, choose a pace you can actually maintain, not a crazy sprint you can't finish.
If you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. It is not about finding the biggest, fastest, or coolest-looking side hustle. It's about finding the one that is the most compatible with the real life you're already living. That is the secret to making it last. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to really think about. Is the side hustle you're considering creating actual leverage, building real options for your future? Or are you just chasing an escape? Be honest with yourself. Your answer will tell you everything you need to know.